$0.36 million, and construction is anticipated to begin in June of 2021 and be finished by January of 2022. The redeveloper has a loan commitment from Spencer Savings Bank for $8.7 million, with the redeveloper investing $3.66 million in equity. Redeveloper, along with his team partners, has constructed storage facilities, offices, solar facilities, and warehouses. Excuse me. The resolution to appoint Sovereign is subject to the redevelopment agreement being approved within 90 days. Mr. Jim Clarkin, the attorney and the principal of Sovereign Consulting, Ravi Gupta are present, and they're here to answer any questions or add anything if they want to my presentation.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney James Clarkin of the firm of Clarkin and Vignolo for Sovereign Consulting. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Clark. We have a comprehensive but concise presentation, which will be delivered by Mr. Ravi Gupta, and I would like to turn it over to him at this time.
All right. My name is Ravi Gupta. I'm the president and CEO of Sovereign Consulting, which is seeking to be the designated as the redeveloper for the 131 Jersey Avenue property. Attempts to redevelop this property have been going on for approximately 15 years. We would have been before you about a year ago, but the property was being strongly considered by the city for the possible construction of a new school. Another school site was selected, and we are now ready to proceed with the approvals. I'm going to divide the presentation into 5 different segments. First will be our development team members' background. Second will be a description of the nature of our proposed project. Third will be our proposed construction schedule. Fourth will be our plan to finance the project. And the fifth and finally will be that we'll briefly touch on the types of tenants we are looking to attract. Sovereign's qualifications are highlighted by over 20+ years of experience in a wide range of projects. Sovereign has led building projects from storage buildings, offices, apartments to recreational facilities. We have extensive experience in dealing with brownfield sites, just as is a subject property. We will work closely with our team partners, Hoboken Brownstone Company and March Construction Company, to provide a totally comprehensive project team. Hoboken Brownstone Company brings over 40 years of urban redevelopment experience, and March Construction brings with them significant experience in the construction of warehouse facilities, similar to what is being proposed for the 131 Jersey Avenue site. Moving on to the nature of this project, it's a flex warehouse proposal that can be used for traditional product warehousing and distribution. In addition, the structure will be designed to be flexible for multiple alternative manufacturing and distribution uses, included but not limited to vertical farming, aquaponics, growing plants in water, aeroponics, growing plants in air, and potentially the cultivation of cannabis. Depending on how the state of New Jersey regulations are formulated for cannabis, we hope to be poised to undertake cannabis growing, product development, manufacturing via THC and CBD infusion technologies, and operating a cannabis dispensary. The construction schedule is included in our submission. You will find it in Appendix F. Considering the health environment we live in and the unknown challenges we'll face in the future, if possible, we are requesting that the redevelopment agreement provides some flexibility regarding the starting date. But we are committed, but as of now, we are committing to start in June 2021. A discussion concerning project financing must start with the construction budget. You'll find that in Appendix E, the budget summary sheet indicates a total construction budget of under $6 million or close to $6 million. The total project cost, which includes all the costs including any additional environmental work that needs to be done, soft costs and other costs, is in excess of $12 million. Keeping in mind our cost for the environmental investigation at the site, remediation, compliance, monitoring, and management of this very contaminated site are in excess of $3 million. Sovereign has a banking relationship with Spencer Savings Bank. Spencer has issued a term sheet, which is included as Appendix G. The term sheet is for both a construction loan and conversion to a permanent loan. The loan amount is anticipated to be about $8.7 million, which represents about 70% of the project costs. That means, of course, Sovereign will be contributing cash and equity in excess of $3.6 million, representing the remaining 30% of the project. Sovereign is in a position to make the contribution, which can be seen by reviewing Appendix C, which contains Sovereign's financial information. Of particular note is the retained earnings, which is shown on the Sovereign's financial statement of totaling $12.1 million. Besides traditional warehousing and distribution tenants, we are considering attracting non-traditional warehouse tenants, with uses like vertical farming, which is an environmentally controlled agriculture system with the primary objective of optimizing plant growth using soil-less farming techniques such as aquaponics and aeroponics. Simplistically, this use would be a multi-level urban farming featuring crops that are grown inside the warehouse in vertical racks or horizontal trays. We are envisioning walls of pesticide-free leafy green vegetables that use LED lamps to provide all the light the plants need. Initially, the focus will be to produce leafy vegetables like kale, spinach, arugula, bok choy, and then possibly moving into tomatoes and strawberries. These environmentally controlled farming techniques use 20 times less water, or 5% of the water used for normal farming. This use will be a great example of using our natural resources optimally. It will also be an awesome learning center and workplace, and a local source of healthy produce. Depending on how the state of New Jersey recreational cannabis regulations are formulated, the warehouse could be used not only for cultivation of cannabis, but cannabis product development and manufacturing via THC and CBD infusion technologies, which could be limited to which would not be limited to manufacturing of and distribution of lotions, creams, sunscreens, infused tea, coffee, lemonades, and candy. These uses would all be conducted indoors in the 59,315 square foot, one-story warehouse structure, which would be complemented by a 4,200 square foot office component. In conclusion, our proposed site plan is relatively simple, and we have provided an overall site plan which protects the Mile Run Brook, which adjoins the property. We have also furnished a truck movement plan to demonstrate to you the feasibility of the interior traffic circulation. We propose for this very irregularly shaped site. These plans, as well as the elevation, the floor plans, are included in Appendix D. Of course, a complete site plan dealing with parking, lighting, landscaping, stormwater management, access, utilities will be presented to New Brunswick Planning Board. Thank you, and thanks to all of you board members for your time and consideration.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the presentation. We only have one witness this evening, and he is, of course, available for your questions.
Any questions from the, any questions for the presenter?
Yeah, I have a question.
Wally?
Yeah. Do you have a tenant yet?
We don't have it yet, but we will be seeking the tenants once we have the warehouse plans in place.
Okay. I think in a letter written on November 12th to John, states distribution and use of horticulture, including cannabis, sales marketing, and dispensary product sampling. Are you marketing it directly, or is there any other companies that will be dealing with the cannabis?
I think as of now, there are other companies who have expressed interest in the cannabis part of it.
Okay.
We are very much interested in the vertical farming also, and can
Okay.
be a complement to it.
So the marketing is based on the regulations that will be developed by the state.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
But the primary objective is to have the flexible warehouse where we can focus on the vertical farming, the traditional warehousing and distribution. And once the regulations come into play and whatever happens with the cannabis program, we can complement what we have.
okay. All right, that was my question.
Okay, but these tenants aren't certain as of yet in terms of cannabis or urban farming or packing and distribution. Right now, there's nobody. You're building it with.
Yes. No, there isn't anybody yet.
Okay,
But there is a significant interest in this area.
of course. Just anecdotally, has anybody with the urban farming component, has anybody presented a scenario in which they're working in cooperation in some way with the city or providing foods for the city or school system or anything like that? I mean, if we're generating this type of volume in terms of vegetables, it sounds like something that could be good for the surrounding community as well. Is there any type of partnership or something like that on the table, or is it just too early?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a concept. There isn't anything on the table yet, but there's an interest in this particular area, and especially the location of the warehouse provides a attractive spot for it near the water source. Plus, regardless of that, we have experience in installing solar panels, and the idea was to, because of the LED lights and other power source which would be generated, a solar system on top of the warehouse would also be an attractive feature, which we would like to evaluate and install at the site.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add something, your traditional redeveloper agreements include a provision for encouraging the hiring of New Brunswick residents.
Mhm.
It would certainly be a parallel type of undertaking for us to try and coordinate with the city to provide the food that might come from the vertical farming in partnership with the Board of Ed. It's something certainly to be talked about.
I think if it's something that we're going to do, and I personally like it, I'm not trying to command the floor or anything like that. I just think it'd be of interest to be able to provide these types of fresh vegetables to the community in which they're being farmed.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. There is a significant interest in providing that, and I think I tried to say that in my presentation, that it will be for the local community usage, and it'll be a learning experience also for the local community.
Those things are phenomenal. I previously worked with the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and one of the big concerns was about getting that type of nutrition into some of the communities that surround this particular site. So I won't harp on it anymore. Are there any questions, any further questions?
I have one additional question. I think you mentioned another type of warehouse next to it. What kind of warehouse will that be?
No, I didn't mention a warehouse next to the property.
Office space.
Part of it.
Oh, yeah, maybe the office space is within the warehouse. It's
Oh, okay.
overall. I was just trying to split up the warehouse and the office space within the warehouse. So,
And let me just add, if I can, Mr. Chairman, that the office space is ancillary to the warehouse use. It would not have a separate tenant.
Oh,
Got it. That's
yes.
okay. And you mentioned having experience with brown sites. You don't foresee any particular complication in terms of introducing farming and food to a site that previously had these issues?
No, we don't. Again, we are expecting it to be a very clean operation as far as the farming is concerned. But we have taken care of the contamination which has been at the site, and we are in compliance, and we have been dealing with the state of New Jersey for approvals on those, and we are in the process, and we're in the compliance monitoring phase right now with that.
Okay.
We have been addressing the environmental issues with the state of New Jersey.
Any other questions? Okay, those are the floor to comments. John?
Roll call.
Yep.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunglap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. So I continue. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you very much.
Resolution number 44 is a resolution ratifying, authorizing, and approving the payment of bills for the month of October 2020.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunglap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 45 is a resolution approving and appointing John Clark as the Fund Commissioner for the New Jersey Public Housing Authority Joint Insurance Fund for the fund year 2021.
Motion?
Second.
So move.
I'm sorry, who moved?
Mr. Dunlap.
Kevin Jones.
Mr. Dunglap, and then seconded
I'll second.
Mr. Walde. As you know, this is an annual resolution for participation in the Joint Insurance Fund. We're a self-insured entity. Ready for the vote?
Yep.
Chair? Commissioner Dunglap,
Second.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
Resolution number 46 is a resolution authorizing and approving the interagency agreement between the Franklin Township Housing Authority and the New Brunswick Housing Authority.
Motion?
Move.
Second.
That was Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, this is the annual resolution. It's proposing the same amount for $77,000 for the interlocal services that we provide over at Franklin. Commissioner Jones?
No, I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay. They have an acting assistant executive director, is that?
Yeah, Tina Adams is the Assistant Executive Director. She's been that for about 20 years now.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's been there for about 20 years now. She's the Assistant Executive Director. That's her title. She also does, is a Section 8 case manager for their Section 8.
Okay, one question I have, we are indemnified, you know, the New Brunswick Housing Authority Executive Director is indemnified, right?
Well, they indemnify us, we indemnify them for staff,
Them, yeah.
or, yeah, it's not just me.
So, okay,
staff,
so if there is an issue, how is it going to be resolved?
What do you mean if there's an issue? If there's an insurance issue?
Insurance issue or something else?
They indemnify us when we're there, and we indemnify any of our employees when they're there. So their insurance would take first position on their site or for any activity.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes both ways. So we indemnify,
ways,
they
okay.
indemnify, but when our staff are there covering the office or doing any activity, it's they are covering us.
Okay.
Ready, Chair?
Ready?
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunglap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
Resolution number 47 is a resolution establishing the remote meeting procedure applicable during a declaration state of emergency for the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick.
Motion?
So move.
You need a second?
I moved it.
Yep. Oh, you need a second, Chair?
Second?
Oh, okay. Counselor Joe or Alberto, you want to talk about this? This is the remote meeting.
Yes, under New Jersey state law, there have been numerous amendments to the Open Public Meetings Act. And this remote policy is required by the New Jersey state government, and it puts the public on notice of how we're conducting our public meetings going forward during the declared COVID state of emergency.
So there is no time limit on it? Is that what?
It's effective, and the laws are effective as long as we remain in a state of emergency, which the governor, as you know, through his executive orders, has continued to declare.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Chair, if I could, it also allows us to then go ahead and re-advertise for the meetings with the link and all the other accessibilities via internet for a full internet link. which then allows people to remotely come in and join in the meeting, via internet.
That's phenomenal.
So that'll be on our website, and then we advertise it as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion.
Ready, Chair? Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
okay, Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
All right, resolution number 48 is a resolution approving the award of a contract for the provision of professional risk management services to Alamo Insurance Group.
Motion.
Let me call you back. I want to make sure there's no
Move.
talking.
Second.
Okay.
This is the professional risk management annual procurement that we usually do for someone to act as our professional risk manager.
Okay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 49 is resolution approving a contract for fee accounting services with Bulgaria and Company in an amount not to exceed $89,260.
Motion.
So moved.
You need a second?
Second.
Second. So this fee for service agreement was expanded a little bit. We've had some retirements, as you may know. So the idea here is that we're expanding it to allow for the possibility of an expanded fee accounting. But again, it is a fee for service, so we really only pay what we use. Our hope is to try to see how it goes once the retirees settle down and we complete that I guess revision or reorganization. But we are anticipating another retirement, so we wanted to be prepared going forward should we need the additional fee accounting services. So we wouldn't have to hire someone else. We would basically just transition over to have that component be done via fee accounting.
Roll call.
John, what staff members are retiring soon?
I can't say people's names because we haven't received the certification yet, but we're anticipating some staff people considering retirement pending what happens with the state plans and the next state round with the June component, one of whom is in finance.
No, I was asking that in terms of shortage of staff to housing authority.
Yeah, we are. Well, as you know, we're not hiring. We're only going. Going inward. But again, we wanted to be prepared so that should that person decide to, submit their paperwork, then officially make it official, that we had the ability to expand up to it. It is a fee for service agreement. So again, we don't pay anything unless we use it.
Okay, good.
Chair, you ready?
Ready.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
Resolution number 50 is a resolution establishing revised flat rents for the New Brunswick Housing Authority effective January 1, 2020.
Move.
You need a second?
Second.
Okay, as you know, or as you saw in your package, HUD issued the updated FMRs effective January 1. Flat rents are typically 80% of the FMRs, and this establishes that for use in the public housing program within our public housing properties. Ready for the vote, Chair?
Ready for the vote, John.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
All right, and lastly, we have resolution number 51, which is a resolution approving and establishing fair market rents for use in the Housing Choice Voucher Program, AKA Section 8, for the FY 2021 for the New Brunswick Housing Authority.
Move.
I'll move it. So moved.
Second.
These are the FMRs that were promulgated from HUD for use in the Section 8 program. Some of them went down, oddly enough, which was kind of strange, but it's HUD's barometer, and it is their determination. So we have to adopt them and use them because it's mandated by regulation. Ready for the vote?
Yeah, that's interesting. They did go down.
So, Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
And that's all I had.
Excellent. All right.
You're in the public comment section.
Yep, just ticking off. All right, so we'll open the floor to public comment.
Yes, please. Charlie Cradaville here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Hey, Charlie.
Great. So thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight from my home. Thank you for the access to the Zoom. I did have a few sort of procedural questions and some constructive suggestions. I hope you'll hear me out. So first of all, I'd like to know, what time did this meeting start? Was this a 6:30 or a 6:45?
Today's meeting is 6:45. We opened the link at 6:30.
Okay, gotcha. I came in just maybe a little bit late, and it seemed like I had missed something, but thank you for that. The meeting, is it being recorded by the authority? I know Zoom has that capacity.
Mr. Chairman, we do not, if it's okay, we do not record meetings. We provide minutes of the meetings. We don't record them.
Gotcha. So constructive suggestion. I know I've mentioned it before, but there's some new board members that maybe weren't here when I mentioned it, and also maybe I didn't bring it up in the best possible way. But I think the best practice is to record the meetings, especially if you're already going to the length of having a Zoom meeting. It's as simple as clicking a button or two, and then you have a near perfect record of the meeting. For the record, I am broadcasting this feed on New Brunswick today. We got 13 people watching remotely in addition to all of us. And would just encourage in the new year the authority to consider recording their meetings or broadcasting their meetings like so many other government entities have been doing. And just a constructive suggestion. Another constructive suggestion would be with public comments. I think it's a best practice to open the floor to public comments before you pass any resolutions. I did have some questions about the redevelopment matter that was there before. I see that the attorney for the applicant and the applicant are still here. So if I could just clarify real quick, the applicant mentioned about the remediation, what phase they're in. He said it was the compliance something phase. Could you clarify what phase the remediation is in?
Doesn't have to answer the question, correct?
It's at the pleasure of the chair. So really, it's up to you.
Sure, let's discuss the remediation.
Yeah, we had the approval from the DEP as a RAO has been approved and we have a deed restriction on the property for industrial and commercial use. And the monitoring is more to make sure that the cap and the property is maintained properly.
Gotcha. So most of the work has already been done.
Yeah, most of the work which was dealing with the contamination has been done. But as we go into construction, there may be some additional work to do with the stormwater or any other issues. They'll be addressed.
Okay, thank you. I know the property is a real eyesore that's definitely in need of something being done there, and I'm encouraged by what I heard tonight. So that was the only question I had. I'm glad that those folks stuck around, so I was able to ask it. I know Mr. Hoffman did not stick around, and if I had a question for him, it would be unfortunate, but I don't. I just think best practice going forward is for you to open the floor before you adopt any resolutions, so that we could get the questions and the answers out there before you have to make your own decision.
Chair, thank you so much, Chair.
You're welcome. All right, so no other comments?
I'm sorry, was my time up?
You've got 27 more seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I was interrupted by the board then. Trying to end on a good note. I want to work together. Could I just get a comment on the government shutdown or the potential of a government shutdown? I know you got a 1-week extension. Could the executive director talk about that, and then I'll leave you alone?
Mr. Chair?
I have no comment on that. I don't think that that's something that we should be commenting on.
your federal agency. It's been talked about at almost every meeting this year, the potential
Is
of.
it 27 seconds up?
It is now.
Okay, and you guys are
About the mediation. I do. That's my old neighborhood, and I'd like to see good things happen there. All right. Any other comments?
well, happy holidays, everyone.
You ready
Likewise.
for the motion to adjourn?
I'm ready for the motion to adjourn.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a motion?
Move.
I'll move it. Second.
You ready? Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Dunlap,
Yes.
Mr. Walde,
Yes.
and Chair.
Yes.
All right, everyone, be safe.
Likewise.
If
Happy
anyone's
holidays.
feeling energetic, we have
Seeing everyone,
doubles
happy
tomorrow morning
holidays.
for you if you want to come by the
Happy
sun.
holidays,
Feeling
thank you.
energetic. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Happy
Good
holidays.
night.
Be
Stay
safe.
off the
Be
roads.
safe.